Hey filmmaker, Chung Dha here. In this video I'm going to show you how to mount a GoPro on the Zhiyun Smooth4. This is a interesting thing because a lot of guys probably have a GoPro and you don't want to spend like double on a gimbal, so you want to have like one gimbal and you can also mount your phone on it, but also try and mount a GoPro on it. So if you are new to this channel, hit that subscribe button here below. Also, I have a special giveaway on my birthday. I'll be giving away a 1-year subscription to Adobe's Creative Cloud, all the apps of theirs. So make sure you are hitting that subscribe button here below. The deadline be June 3rd on my birthday. So make sure you are subscribed to get a chance to win it. And for the people who are thinking why put a GoPro on a smartphone gimbal instead of buying like the actual gimbal for the GoPro, is you basically have like one device that can use multiple devices. So you can put your phone on here and you can put the GoPro on here. Your phone often is not as wide. You could possibly put some lens on your phone, but often that would make your phone quite heavy and not able to work properly with a phone gimbal. And here we have GoPro for the extra ultra wide angle. But also the one thing is like if you want to do time lapses, a lot of the phone apps actually does not do like really high resolution time lapse or even like raw photos or time lapse. While with a GoPro nowadays you have that high resolution to do like proper time lapses and really nice time lapse settings also. So yeah, you can get like that moving time lapse with a GoPro on your phone gimbal instead of having like multiple gimbals. You can also like easily switch around. This adapter is not that heavy. It's like also much smaller to put in your bag, camera bag, or any other bag, and have like this for an extra camera. Maybe your phone runs out of batteries and you could just pop a GoPro on here and still film. So the first thing you can actually do, most gimbals actually support a GoPro. So you have like this clamp on here on the Zhiyun Smooth4, and instead of having it orientated like this to hold a phone, we can actually unlock this knob over here. Just twist it to unlock it, and we can rotate it 90 degrees. Now that it's 90 degrees, we can actually clamp the GoPro in here. And the only thing is the weight distribution is not perfect. So you can see it can't horizontally hold it perfectly. We can't push it as far as much to this side. So even when I unlock this knob over here and push it all in, it's too heavy on that side. You could clamp something to add a little bit weight on that side to help it, but also there's another thing. With the Smooth4, it does not have 360 degrees head, so it actually can't use the selfie mode compared to the Smooth3. So all you are enabled is to, or actually when we turn this on, press on, and we can see now it's on. We can only have it orientating that way, so we can only hold it like this to film forward, or hold it like this to film yourself. It's not a huge issue because most of these buttons you aren't using anyways, because those are controlling or buttons that controls the phone app, but it's not really used when you are using like the GoPro. And yeah, basically the only button that is useful is the pen, follow, and the lock button. But the rest is yeah, kind of pointless. These buttons would not be able to use. And the other usable buttons are these, the phone go and the full follow button. So those are pretty much the only buttons that you will need. So the only downside really with this setup is that you can't see the screen, so you don't know what you are filming. So we have here two different adapters, the Xiaomi and the PGY Tech, and we're going to try these two out and see which one is better, which one can actually be held, and also which one is actually useful, because the prices are quite different. And even though the PGY Tech looks like more, less basic design than this Xiaomi, but yeah, we have to see which one is actually the better adapter to get. So we're going to mount the GoPro on the Xiaomi adapter. Going to mount it like this. Another thing is this orientation, we have to turn back to normal. And this we have to mount it kind of upside down. It's not really an issue, but yeah, you have to kind of flip it back in the editing. And it's too much over there, so we have to unlock this knob, move it back. And this one we can actually get it leveled as much as possible, so we can actually get this quite horizontal, that it holds its weight quite well. However, you might actually notice there's one issue with this. The camera is actually pointing that way. So when we actually look at the Xiaomi mounted on the Smooth4 and actually using it, it is usable. It actually lessens the strain on the motor because it is leveled. And yeah, it's also great because we can actually see the monitor over here, so we can see what we are filming. And yeah, pretty much it's quite useful. The only thing, it's like the same with that you are using the GoPro directly mounted on here, that it's orientated differently. But at least here we can actually see what we are filming. So now to the PGY Tech adapter and see how that goes. So to mount the PGY adapter, you do need to have just the smaller screws. So with these, you actually get like a double set of screws, one that's longer. I'm not quite sure why the longer one is supplied, because it seems to be either like for a different kind of camera that it needs those longer ones. But for the GoPro, I don't see that it's needed. Only thing is, like with the shorter ones, you do need to fully release the screws from the holder, or from that U-shaped bracket, and then put it back through it. And so this is now mounted, and we're going to put this on the Smooth4 and push it as far as possible to that side. And now when we are trying to balance this, move this as far out as possible, but it's actually not really that well balanced. So when we turn this on, it should still work, but it's actually a little bit heavy for the motor, so it might over time actually cause the motor to overheat, and also it would over time slightly not stay that horizontal. And you can see actually it kind of tried to overcompensate here. So personally, PGY Tech, it does have the correct orientation, but the balance seems to be not perfect, and also it needs to be more weight on this side. And pretty much it is usable, but you can see already because the motor's trying to overcompensate, that it's kind of like this side is going down and this side is going up, while it's actually heavy over that side. So you might need to go into the app and see if you lessen the compensation. But also it would drain the battery much more right now, because it needs to compensate so much over the weight. So personally, the PGY Tech, because it's not really balanced correctly, I wouldn't really get it, because it would just use a lot of power and just yeah, cause more problems than you need. Okay, so if we mount it on the inside, but then it still has that issue, you can't see what you are filming. So now it does balance correctly. Now we turn it on. So it does balance correctly. You kind of can see the screen here through here, this small area. But yeah, it seems, yeah, also have that bad orientation. So I think if I would choose between the adapters, I would go for this Xiaomi one, especially yeah, it's much cheaper, or just go without an adapter, which is much cheaper. So now that we actually know that we can mount a GoPro on a phone gimbal and actually make it work, do we actually still really need to buy a separate gimbal for just a GoPro? So personally, it really depends on your need, and I personally, if you are just using something for vlogging and just need to have it hold and yeah, to get like a good gimbal shot, personally, I think it's better to get like a phone gimbal, especially you can have like either use your phone or use your gimbal and not be like limited to just a GoPro. So you can at least use your phone, and most people now, they have a phone that has like a good 4K video function in it. So it's quite useful to like switch between your phone and a GoPro instead of just being stuck with it enabled to film with a GoPro. So another thing is, of course, there are a like the Zhiyun Rider M is much smaller gimbal, and those are like very special needs, like for like if you are really an action person, so you can mount it on your chest, mount it on helmet, mount on the handlebar of your bicycle. Those kind of gimbals, of course, would be a separate thing. But like if you are just having like GoPro, or like searching for a yeah, gimbal that is for your GoPro, that you really need to hold it with your hand the whole time, then like you could just go for a phone gimbal instead. So the main conclusion, go for the Xiaomi adapter, because it's quite affordable, and also probably this adapter goes under different names everywhere, and I'll have a link in the description below where you can get this adapter. Even though the GoPro is upside down orientated, it's not that much of an issue. The main thing is we can actually see what we are filming, and that is the most important part. And also we can reach all the buttons of the GoPro, and pretty much, yeah, it puts less strain on also the gimbal, so the battery life will also be much better on your gimbal than putting your GoPro on here without an adapter, or yeah, even this one. And yeah, pretty much the PGY Tech one doesn't seem to work that great. It doesn't really get put in or work that well on the Smooth 4, even though yeah, it looks like it can be orientated like the proper side, but I put too much weight onto the motors to yeah, properly work. So that was mainly it. If you haven't subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button here below, and I'll see you guys the next time. Bye bye.